Hello and welcome to Waking Jake. Myself, Jake Storielli at Talkin Jake, Big Baby David on the wheels of steel as it is June 17th. What? That's like a middle of summer day. Although in the Northeast it feels like summer just started. I guess we're a little biased. Just went to the Jersey Shore this weekend. We had a live event. Thank you to everyone who came out. Couple of bakers there, so appreciate all that. And we had a good time, except for the New York Yankees getting embarrassed, which I'll talk about a little bit. We got a fun one right before the buzzer. America's GM, Jim Bowden, came out on The Athletic with his 5 trades he'd like to see. And we're going to dive into them and rip them apart. With articles like this, you got to find the find the actual takeaways you can grab, whether that's a certain player's value or if there's a landing destination that you're like, ooh, that I like that. And I've got something off the rip there. I guess I don't know. We can address the Yankees, who just had an embarrassing loss on national television. 9 stolen bases, that's the final number?
9.
I had 10 in my head.
9 times.
9 times the Yankees got stolen on by the Boston Red Sox. It was one of those things, there was almost a little John Boy Media pat ourselves on the back because early on this year, there was a lot of conversations about Jose Trevino's throwing and Austin Wells. It's one of those Yankees hold your butt moments because they're playing the Orioles and then the Braves, right? Are those back-to-back?
That sounds right.
So that's a chunky part of the schedule, huh? First Red Sox series. Royals, who I should give more credit to, although the Yankees bully-balled them. Royals, Sox, Orioles, Braves, where it seemed like the Red Sox just gave a pretty good formula on how to beat the Yankees if you want. Put some athletes out there, swipe some bags, see what happens. Pretty embarrassing. They were doing little league plays. Like if there was a runner on third, the runner on second would just take second, and the Yankees wouldn't even think about throwing down. It was a tough thing to watch, especially when you're hosting a live event for 200 people. So sorry to all our Yankee friends that are there. The beauty of baseball, if the Yankees beat the Orioles this week, kind of everything's good. But this Yankees team is flawed. And I guess if you have a Yankee fan in your life that's critical of the team, A, draw some boundaries. If they're being critical of Judge and Soto, you've already lost us. But B, this team has some holes in it. First base has been ugly. Anthony Rizzo just got hurt, and he has not been performing. DJ LeMahieu is back for first or third, has not been performing. Oswaldo Cabrera, since the first couple of weeks of the season, he could play anywhere. Hasn't been performing. And Gleyber Torres, who, let me start on the highest notes. If Gleyber Torres wins a ring with the Yankees, he falls into such a weird category of like played 6 years, couple-time All-Star, World Series champ that, I don't know, Gleyber Torres enters like a whole new happy world of Yankees. If this is somehow how it ends with Gleyber, whether at the end of the season or people around the office are saying he might be out, might not be the perfect fit for this team. They could use speed and defense. That's not his game. He has a good power bat for a second baseman. I'll get away from the Yankees, but that was a tough watch as someone hosting a watch party for other Yankee fans. I guess some other just MLB around the horn real quick. The baseball boogie. That's what we call it on Talkin', or that's what the song on Talkin' Baseball. And I've been looking for a name for kind of the baseball around the horn segment. So let me see what else I can boogie for you. How about those Red Sox? Plus 38 run differential. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they're 8th best run differential in baseball. If you look at their numbers on paper, their offense, starting pitching, and bullpen are all top 10. Their problem is defense. And they've had a lot of injuries in the lineup, I suppose. But I don't know. Today I landed on Talking Baseball that if you're the Sox, I'm not saying you have to move all the chips all in, but you have some young, fun players. Let's get some good reps in Boston, because it's sneaky been a tough run the past couple years. Trev hit it on the nose. We gave Heim some time. He gone. Craig Breslow season. Very interesting deadline for them. You'd love to see them add a 1.5-year guy or maybe a 2.5-year guy. It doesn't make sense for them to go all in on a rental, but if they're trying to build something here, they now have some pieces that they can build upon. Interested to see their next steps. My Blue Jays are still fighting the fight. They beat the Guard Dogs. They stay alive. Keep your Bo Bichette rumors out of here for now. In the Central, Twins won 5 in a row. 4 of them are against Oakland. I will tell you, go check what Correa's doing. Correa's been a Looney Tune for the past couple weeks since I shook his hand at Yankee Stadium. Watch out for that. Hitting 500 over 500 the past 2 weeks. That's and there's power behind it now that him and Royce Lewis back. I mean, the Twins just got 2 plus players. So I've been very hard on the Twins because I think if you take out their White Sox games, they are 500. But other teams got to play the White Sox too. And they're getting better. But God, they need a little more help. They really got hurt by the TV deals. Any Tiger fans out there? 3 games under 500. That could fall apart pretty quickly. That's not a team a lot of people thought was going to be purged, but our guy Jack Flaherty is killing it. I think you're going to start hearing a lot more Tigres rumors. In your West, Seattle is killing it. They've been actually hot. Do they have the best home record in baseball? They just might. Not as good as the Phillies, sorry. But their run differential starting to get there. 8.5 games up on Texas, 9 on Houston. The pitching is dominant. They are involved in the trade rumors, and we teed that up last week. I think in the National League, only juicy detail for you is that we're fully on the Nats bandwagon. Because screw everyone else. Cardinals were supposed to have real expectations. Reds have hurt me a little bit. The Cubs are now last place in the Central. Meanwhile, the Padres just dropped to under 500. Diamondbacks, which this was my date to see if they'd be in the playoffs, they're technically a half game back. So I was close, but no cigar. We don't take that. We don't take laps on those. With the same record as the Giants, the NL has been fun for me. I hope it was just this weekend, but I looked around the league, and I was, ugh, what are we doing, fellas? Currently, an under 500 team would be in the postseason. Shout out to the Brewers, who have been sneaky, just killing it all year. 42-29. They beat the Cincinnati Reds for the 8th straight time in a series. Silly. Okay, that was my mini baseball boogie. Let's get into the 5 trades America's GM, Jim Bowden, would like to see. And I have to reverse engineer this because if you have seen the article, number 1, Uncle Jim rolled it out.
We'll get to number 1.
We'll start at number 5. Luis Severino. Hey! We know that guy. He's pitching for the New York Mets, who, by the way, are a game and a half out of the wild card. Very much would love to sell. And they should, but nobody knows how this is going to sort out. Because over the last 15 games or so, the Mets have been one of the best teams in baseball. Undefeated since Grimace throughout the first pitch. Tweet at Jolly about that. They have Luis Severino going to the Baltimore Orioles. How about that? For Trace Bright and Judd Fabian. I'll be honest, Judd Fabian, half in my book. Outfield prospect. Trace Bright, not so much. Just goes to show how many prospects the Orioles have that these guys... Trace Bright's a 5th-round pick from 22. Judd Fabian is playing okay at AA, but the Orioles, they are one of the people that... Oh, my God, I just looked how dented my hat is. Has it been like that all day? What's that about?
I think you're good.
What is that? Okay. Oh, there we go. Now my head looks small. Most importantly with this, the Orioles control a chunk of the trade market because they have all the capital. So depending how much youth they are willing to move, they can play whatever they want. Luis Severino, 3.12 ERA this year. A 1.179 whip in 13 starts. Sevy had a brutal year last year with the Yankees. I think there was a little bit of bad luck, and I think there was just a little bit of the ick. Like, something was clearly a little off, but he was still throwing 98. Like, the velo was there. That I think he needed an off season. I think he needed a build-up. He had a lot of injuries with the Yankees. Here's my Luis Severino thing, that whatever team gets him, and that'll be, well, if the Mets sell, which they should. Sorry, Mets fans. Luis Severino, with these stats and his arm talent, depending what team Luis Severino goes to, I mean, he could be looked at as a guy for the postseason. Now, his postseason numbers with the Yankees haven't been too great. Sevy, to call it a grab bag would be nice. He has the famous Minnesota Twins start that the Yankees had the Didi homer in the first inning. That was a great electric comeback. His postseason starts, so it'd be interesting. Like, say, I don't know, if Severino got traded to the St. Louis Cardinals, he's probably in their playoff rotation.
Probably, right?
It's always interesting to see how a season plays out down the stretch. I think a team is going to trade for Sevy, and where they are going to have their butts covered, because a reminder, another friend of the program, Jack Flaherty, he got traded to the Orioles last year, really struggled, didn't have it, basically got buried to the depths of the bullpen. And there's the magic word, because BBD will tell you as well. Luis Severino as a reliever has some very nice numbers at the major league level. In his career, 16 games, opponents have a 140 batting average off Sevy, 467 OPS, a career 1.44 ERA in 31.1 innings. So, if you trade for Luis Severino, you've got the option. He could come in. If he gets hot, he fits your rotation or what you need. Sure. Having Sevy as a potential kick to the bullpen option, I mean, my Yankee wheels are spinning right now to bring back Sevy and have him be a sick setup guy, because that's what the Yankees need. That I think whatever team gets Luis Severino will be happy, because even if solution A does not work out, I think solution B as a reliever could be even more important, because that's also potential multi-inning playoff reliever. Like, that's a high-leverage guy. So, America's GM, Jim Bowden. I just love that Sevy made the list here, because that was a head tilt for me of, if you bring this guy in, there's almost a guaranteed win, which you can't always say that when you're trading for someone. I know that's not what Sevy probably wants to hear, is he's going to hit free agency again, but he's already had a great season as a starting pitcher. And I guess I'm more so talking postseason, October.
He's, for those unfamiliar with Sevy's game, just his stuff very much is just the kind that ticks up in a bullpen role, and like, if you're not feeling him as a starter, he just is a viable option there.
Yeah, fastball, slider, and changeup, everything kind of ticks up. I'm trying to see, he has 1.1 innings of relief in 2021, but that was the year he came back only as a reliever, and he had 5 appearances before he came back. Fortunately, that was every Yankee season. So, okay, Jim Bowden, America's GM, first stamp of approval for me. And he mentioned with the Kyle Bradish news that, Sevy could come in. He's pitched in the AL East before. I think he grades out as a fly ball pitcher, so Camden, probably a good spot for him at this point. I like it. B+. Judd Fabian. The Cardinals. he has them acquiring Erick Fedde. Maybe won't you come my way? For 2 pitchers, Cooper, looks like his last name's pronounced Herpy. H-J-E-R-P-E. You clip out like 3 clips there. And Gordon Graceffo, who I thought was a Cardinals prospect at one point. Yeah, Cardinals 5th-round pick. Look at that. Why do I know something like that?
Whoa.
That was off the top of the dome.
I'm seeing Cooper's last name pronounced Jerpy, which I don't know if that's better.
Cooper, I apologize. The bigger story here is because, although I was familiar with my guy Gordon, which was also former roommate Jeff's karaoke name, the Cardinals, I think we need to start having more serious conversations about what they're going to do. Because at 500, they are currently tied for the second wild card, which is insane. But when you do zoom out, the Cardinals have been a proud baseball town. They had one of their worst seasons last year. It never really made sense except momentum-wise. It just never came together. That for the Cardinals being 500, that's whatever. But their veteran pitcher ads have gone generally well. Sonny Gray has been electric. Kyle Gibson, our guy, we just got into his stats. He's been really good lately. Michaelis, who's already there, he's kicked into gear. But you're also going to want insurance for these elder statesmen. And Erick Fedde, like we've now seen, has that been a Jolly Olive video yet? Like guys that were bad, went to Korea, have come back and been good? Merrill Kelly? Like when's that video coming, Jolly? Send him a text, BBD. Say, oh, dude, thanks for the idea. Gotta have Jolly on soon. It's been a minute. Erick Fedde will be traded. I don't think you need to give up your top prospects. The White Sox will be looking for bodies and help. Fedde, 15 starts, a 3.09 ERA, almost a strikeout per inning. Instant reaction is love this for the Cardinals. Like, hey, worst case, you're getting innings here. You've got insurance policies. Maybe he can be great for you. Maybe the light bulb has gone off. And let's see. I think he has 1.5 years left, so that could actually be an ad for next year too. If you're the White Sox, yeah, he's on the book for $7.5 million next year. So if Erick Fedde is anything even around this guy, for the value you have him on next year's contract, that's a good body to have on your team. I guess my note for Erick Fedde would be any team that's not looking pure rental, that might be in the 1.5-year boat. Seems like this guy makes sense. He also seems like a value play. $7.5 million. I don't know. The Twins just came to mind. I don't know where their starting pitching's at, but they're not going to put all their chips on the table. So I guess if you're a value bin team, I think Erick Fedde. Price tag, 1.5 years of control. The cost. You're not going to go on the free agent market. What's Jack Flaherty? If Jack Flaherty keeps it up and hits free agency next year, it's over $20 million, and then it's how many years of it? Giolito got that off of a bad season. An okay season. Sorry, Giolito. You've got
first
more
half,
than
second half.
Yes. So who are there who are, I don't want to say value teams, but who are value teams? Who cares about the dollar that's in the mix?
Are the Reds in the mix still?
Twins, Reds, maybe?
I lose track of the NL standings every
game.
day.
The NL, everyone's kind of in the mix. And I guess all the central teams are kind of bargain teams. Pirates, make your strength a strength. Twins and Cardinals. How about that? See you there, Erick Fedde. Jim Bowden, America's GM, does it again. As we go up from number 4.
Mariners.
Ryan McMahon, who's been a popular name. We've rumored him for our Yankees. I was first driving that bus. because I am very much an anti-Coors Field OPS plus. Ryan McMahon, every season previous to this year, has had an OPS plus below 100. That being said, another way to phrase that is for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, for the last 4 full seasons, Ryan McMahon has had 20-plus home runs. He's also never won a Gold Glove, which is surprising, but he's rated out well defensively at third base. He can also play second base and first base. Hello, the 3 position the Yankees are currently worried about. Unfortunately, JB, AGM, he has Ryan McMahon going to the Seattle Mariners. For Emerson Hancock, pitching prospect, Michael Arroyo, not in my book because he's 19 years old. So the first caveat you have to throw out here, which is my least favorite caveat in sports, is that Ryan McMahon is on the Colorado Rockies, which means we cannot predict what they will do. And if they do it, it'll probably be the wrong direction. Like, there's a chance they extend Ryan McMahon, who's already under contract through 2027. I would love to. I think these would be some of my favorite. If I had a card that was like, please let me into the GM room for actual trade talks, I would love to see the actual trade talks for Ryan McMahon. Because you could drop that OPS plus stat that we talked about. Like, technically sub-league average. OPS plus does take into account the stadium. He's a very different hitter than DJ LeMahieu. But when DJ LeMahieu, his 2017-2018 at Coors Field, he was technically 7% and then 12% below average. He came over to the Yankees the next year and was 136 OPS plus, 178 OPS plus. Maybe I'm blinded by some DJ LeMahieu stuff there, who the short porch actually benefit him more than Coors Field. I always enthuse anyone to Google some stuff about the Coors Field effect. Sure, it can help you at home, but it absolutely kills you on the road. That I think if Ryan McMahon played in a controlled environment, I think he'd be a plus. I think he'd be a plus hitter. I think he'd be a plus defender. Left-handed, you could use that on any team. Now, the Seattle Mariners is where I'm getting thrown off just a little bit. Because if I look at the Mariners lineup, J.P. Crawford, he's there. Bong. Josh Rojas has been playing third base and second base. He's a flexible player. So I guess in this theory, he would kick to second base and McMahon would play third. I think you have an option either way there. Rockies or Mariners fans, please don't get too loud about that. But I think McMahon would have dibs.
I'm sure they can do whatever. I have not personally read any quotes from him, but the fact that McMahon's only played third this year, I am assuming he put his foot down and was like, I'd love to just play third.
Hey.
But I don't know. I don't know what happened there. He's done the others before.
Right now at second base, they've kind of had, they traded for Jorge Polanco, who strained his hamstring. He's been out. Haggerty was playing there a little bit. He's been out. Dylan Moore has been playing there, versatile. Hasn't been so hot lately. I guess, and this is a dumb gripe from me, maybe, I want the Mariners to get a righty. Right now they've got Mitch Garver and Mitch Haniger. Hilarious. The Mitches figuring it out at DH. Maybe some corner outfield for Haniger, but I heard that's been ugly this year. With J.P. Crawford kind of becoming a solid leadoff guy / he's their shortstop. He's going to get on base, whatever. Josh Rojas has been a breakout player for them and a sneaky baseball card. Like, his numbers, we did this one day, but his numbers are better than what you think they would be. Julio, sure. We like Julio. Cal Raleigh, switch hitter. So then the rest of the lineup here. And one of the Mitches will figure it out. So maybe there's your righty. Luke Raley has kind of been part of this. Canzone. Ryan Bliss got called up. We'll see if Polanco and Ty France come back. I am a Cal Raleigh stan. I think he's the heart and soul of that team. I would love to see either Crawford or Rojas lead off, Julio in the 2-hole. I think I like Cal Raleigh 3. And then give me another righty 4-hole. And that's where the Pete Alonso dream has come in. And maybe that's on the table. Maybe it's not. But Ryan McMahon, the other thing that scares me just a little bit, as I've been defending him and how I've been saying if he plays in a good environment or if he's not in Coors, how that could actually benefit him. The only thing that scares me, does it not seem like every year a player goes to Seattle and just cannot hit? Like we saw it. Who's our guy from the Scooter game? Jesse Winker. Like every year we see someone go into Seattle and they just can't hit anymore. That Ryan McMahon, I think if we're just being straight up and honest about it, there's a chance he could go to Seattle and not hit a lot. That if I'm how about this? I think Ryan McMahon, the beauty of him is you can bank on his defense. If I'm Seattle, I'd rather have someone I can bank on their offense because that's the part of the team that's currently hurting me. So I don't love the fit. I would love Ryan McMahon to get out of Colorado, just like anyone kind of would. But I don't love that fit. So, Jim Bowden, when you're ready to throw down, I don't think we're going to. God, if he gets, how about this? Here's some dumb Yankee stuff. If Ryan McMahon gets traded and it's not to the Yankees, I'll probably be mad. Because, God, he's the perfect piece for them.
If he's actually available.
And, yeah, that's where we talked about this with Jeff Passan last week. And Jeff Passan put in an article. I think the Rockies owner likes Ryan McMahon, which
he's spoken rather openly, glowingly about him.
It's a little ridiculous. And I think the GM conversations with Ryan McMahon have to be absolutely brutal. Because you could view, he signed an extension. He is $12 million next year. 16 mil the year after that, 16 mil the year after that. Some teams could see that as a good contract. Other teams could see that as a bad contract. That I think teams are probably throwing junk at the Rockies because they're also not the most respected front office. That I would love if I had that chip to cash in, to be a fly on the wall for those trade talks. Number 2, like gold. Twins acquire Pete Alonso. Well, hey, for Alex Kirilloff, David Festa, and Luke Keeshall. Okay. My Minnesota Twins, me and my friend Trevor. Like I opened up with this, I'm going to start respecting the Twins a little bit more. Correa, he's obviously not going to keep hitting how he is, but his numbers are back to where a good Carlos Correa's numbers are, and it's a reminder that doing that at shortstop makes him a 30 mil plus player. So Carlos Correa is back. Royce Lewis is awesome. Trev was right. In my head, I want to fight it. The kid hasn't played a lot. He's electric. He's a 1-1, plays like it. I guess my question marks here would be, it's a rental of Alonso, so what are you going to really give up? And I don't know if Twins fans would be hurt by that package. Larnack and Kirilloff have just been the same player in my head for the past 3 years now. One gets called up, he has a hot 2 weeks. Hey, you can play some corner outfield and first base, right? They go ice cold. They need room for another body. They get sent down, and they are just feels like the same cycle. So if the Mets get a chance to run a guy out like that every day, maybe it clicks. Maybe they get that body. Can be worthwhile. I guess the question for me is lineup balance wise, and where's Minnesota's money at? We know that the Mets are willing to eat money. The Twins seem to not want to spend money. So if the Mets are willing to eat it, well, now a free Pete Alonso, now you've got to pay for that. because there's not going to be a lot of Pete Alonso type power on the market. And then I guess it would just be, okay, let's say Correa and Lewis, they're locked in as some sort of good. Whatever scale you want to put them on, if you think Royce is amazing, maybe you're right. If you think he's okay, maybe you're right. Correa is a level of good to great. We're righty again. That I don't know. Correa, Lewis, and Pete Alonso, sure, that's tough, but I don't know. Let's say they got matched up against the Seattle Mariners. Like, I think Castillo, Gilbert, Wu, Miller, Kirby, I think they're all licking their chops. Like, after seeing, and I know Juan Soto shouldn't be all of it, but also Alex Verdugo added to the Yankees, balance matters. That I don't know what Willie Castro is going to be by the end of the season. I know he's been a really solid contributor for them, a great utility piece. Right now it is Trevor Larnach in their two-hole. I just don't know what you're getting out of him. I would like it a lot more if the Twins lineup looks something like Royce Lewis, impact lefty switch hitter, Carlos Correa. Or maybe you could slide that down and put a leadoff hitter up there. But I don't know. If you have Royce Lewis, Correa, and Alonso, that feels like three guys that have to hit back-to-back. Sure, you can slide up a Max Kepler, but who are you pushing down? Is Pete Alonso hitting sixth when he could be the best hitter in your lineup? Pete Alonso fits everywhere. I got in trouble on this on Twitter last week because I said the Yankees didn't need Pete Alonso. They don't. They'd love to have him. And so would the Minnesota Twins. That you figure it out. But I'd love to see them. I guess these have been my last two trades now. Get something a little more balanced. I wonder if, again, I don't think Ryan McMahon would be a difference maker for them like Alonso could be. So I'm not ruling it out, and I'm interested to see if the Mets will actually do it, because Alonso's been their guy.
Yeah, there's weird value stuff for the Mets because it's like rental first base DH only options. Rental. Are you going to really beat out what you're going to get from the qualifying offer were you to lose him?
Right.
Are you really going to beat that by enough for the optics of trading away Alonso to be worth it? Are they themselves trying to hold on to him? And if you were like, well, I guess trade and go back. If you're traded, you're not eligible for the qualifying offer, so that's out of it. But like, I in my head, I don't have them trading him.
Yeah,
there's weird just value equations there.
It's going to be one of the biggest stories of the deadline. It was half a story at last deadline, but now it's actually happening. And we will see.
They certainly could, but
they certainly could, and they'd have a great shot at re-signing him. Like, if they threw the most money at Pete, I don't think he would do like, I'm not coming back. I think
he really loves it.
If any player would be extremely open to it, it's Pete Alonso. So I could see him getting traded. I just feel like with the money involved, which the Mets are willing to pick up the tab, but then you got to pay more in capital. I think there's going to be other teams more in on Alonso than the Twinkies. This all sets up where America's GM, Jim Bowden, you want to talk about writing an article. You want to talk about getting the Wake and Jake crew to talk about it. You open up your article with this. Dodgers, click, done. Acquire, click. Luis Robert, yes. Robert. Garrett Crochet, click, yes. And Michael Kopech. So the two talented lefty-righty arms that we thought would become an impact combo for the White Sox, they're in there, along with a guy that was tabbed the Cuban Mike Trout for a little bit. That's a big package. So, what are the Dodgers throwing? Nick Frasso, Justin Roblieski, Kyle Hurt, Peyton Martin, Dalton Rushing, Andy Pajes, and Emil Morales. 7 prospects for 3 ball players. Jim, I love it. Just need the Dodgers to answer the phone. His first sentence is, this would be an industry shocker. A 10-player trade. Sure would. So let's see. We're swapping out Pages, who replaced James Outman earlier this year as a young center fielder. So, okay. Lou Bob, you're in. Why not?
Sure.
Garrett Crochet has just been amazing this year. That they would probably throw him in the rotation. If you're the Dodgers, you kind of have a valuable asset through 2026. Kopech's through 2025. Robert through 2027. So you've bolstered your core with 3 pitchers. All you have to do is give up the farm. Game recognized game, Jim. I see you. No, though. The Dodgers are going to buy, and I could see them getting one big piece. And maybe I'm off because the Dodgers also did the famous Trey Turner Max Scherzer trade, which, man, they paid in some capital for that. And it's not like they're getting killed on the back end of that. I know they don't have Trey or Max anymore. Our guy Josiah Gray had been good, got hurt. Keibert Ruiz has hit a little bit, can't throw runners out. That if you're trading 7 prospects to the White Sox, some Kyle Hurt, Frasso, Pages have some familiarity with these guys. Emil Morales, the 17-year-old shortstop, I haven't scouted him yet. But that's what these next 60 minutes are for. No. I don't know. It's the easy answer to always turn down the blockbuster. I just don't see the Dodgers thinking they need to cash in this many chips for that many. Like, we looked at their injured rotation, and it was still a big league rotation. And this is before Kershaw comes back. I think they had someone else on the wire to return. Jesus, they have so many pitchers hurt.
So many. We don't know how long the Yamamoto absence will be. I'm sure
That's
they'll take
true.
their time. But this specific trade would be on MLB.com prospect rankings, getting up their 1, 3, 5, 9, 14, and 18th prospects.
Yeah, and I guess, and maybe this is me being blinded by the new world of baseball, but doing that trade doesn't promise the Dodgers anything.
It's just kind of fun.
They're still good. Like, obviously, you get better. You've just added 2 talented pitchers and one of the most talented outfielders in baseball, but you're already...
Would that change how you feel about the Dodgers?
It has to, because otherwise then nobody would trade. It has to. So Garrett Crochet has been leading the AL in strikeouts.
He's relieved before if they get to the postseason
I guess
and
the
want to
bigger,
kick that.
I guess you could talk me into any one of those single players. Like, if they want to add Crochet for a couple years, sure. If they want to try to tap into Kopech, someone's going to. Or Luis Robert. Like, Mookie just got hurt in the hand. Their lineup's been thin. But I don't see the Dodgers emptying out layers and layers of prospects
to have all 3.
First, not essentially 1 year of run, but they also have other bodies that are coming back next year. Like, Dustin May at some point will pitch again. Emmett Sheehan. Let's see Yamamoto's timeline. Gonsolin. So, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just overwhelmed. Maybe it's soft. Maybe it's why I'm not America's GM and Jim Bowden is. But what a way to kick off that article that I had to save it for the end here. I guess if you, again, I'll ask the comments and I'll dig through them next episode. Might be a foolish one. We'll see. Let me know. Let me know where the fits are. Fedde as the value pitcher. Is your team begging for something like that? Please no more White Sox blockbusters.
And like, if you're the White Sox, I feel like they would, obviously any given combination of guys, but like Wouldn't they try to make this as many different trades as possible, try to replenish and all that? Now, maybe the White Sox just don't have the benefit of the doubt as far as making the A-plus set of moves, but
I'll tell you what's an A-plus set of moves. Wake and Jake is a production of Dan Patrick Productions, John Boy Media, and Workhouse Media. We'll see you guys back Wednesday.
oh.